This book will begin to illustrate the intrinsic link between our identity and the relationship to space, time, energy, and mass. Many people may not be aware of these fundamental principles which govern all facets of our life. Identity is a means to eliminate uncertainty. Uncertainty causes fear. Think about this. The longer it takes to identify something, the longer the period of uncertainty. Everybody wants certainty. People love certainty, and they fear uncertainty. Whether we are certain or uncertain affects our lives and our body is more than just a body. It is where the mind meets the soul. Our bodies are an expression of consciousness. Our bodies say much about us. They send many messages to the world. It is a subliminal communication that is intended to bring certainty. Identity is a 360-degree business that goes on in our every waking moment. We are subconsciously aware of our identity from all angles. Our shape, size, and color give us our primary identity. That being, we are identified as human beings. It will also tell the world of our gender and creed. But we are also identified beyond that. Our lines, curves, body shape, hair color, and facial features are all unique to us. So we actually have two identities. A primary identity, which is the species identity, and our very own individual identity. So we are identified as a human being and as an individual. But as you are about to see, this is relative to space. As you can see from the zebra, it is instantly recognizable. You have instant certainty. The period of uncertainty was virtually zero. How did you get instant certainty? Because you recognized the shape, size, and color of the zebra. This is the purpose of the species identity. Now let's look at the distance or space between the zebra and ourselves. The zebra is quite a long way from us, let's say 200 meters. Now let's look at things from a zebra's perspective. It can see from a long range where others of its kind are. It knows they are zebras because it knows itself. It is like having a mirror of yourself. The zebra has instant certainty. It knows where it belongs. Now, let's look at the zebra up close. Now we can see its individual markings. We can now see its individual identity. This shows us that every animal is unique and has a degree of significance within its species. But we can only see this because the space or distance between us and the zebra is very close. So each identity is dependent on distance or space. We have two identities, and they are determined by space. As with the zebra, the same thing applies to humans. We have a species identity that we can see at long distance. We can see it as a person, although at this distance we cannot see if they are male, female, old, young, or what color they are. They are simply identified as a person from this distance or space. Now let's look at the identity close up. Just as the zebra, we see the identity has changed because the individual features of the face, hair, and body shape can be seen up close. Now, the only difference between the zebra and people is that we have introduced several more identities in between the individual and species identity. These are national and cultural identities. People around the world have become obsessed with the individual national, and cultural identities and have lost sight of the species identity. Because species identity only becomes apparent at long distances, people can lose sight of this identity very quickly. As simple as it sounds, all people wish to contribute to the species. If the species identity is lost, then contribution is impossible. With that, uncertainty is gained, which ultimately results in fear. If many of the individuals begin to fear, then the entire future of the species is undermined. Time can also affect your body shape and size, which is your primary identity. Look at the three models here. The overweight lady on the left is past-orientated. The normal lady in the middle is present-orientated, and the underweight lady on the right is future-orientated. To explain this, we need to understand that people love certainty, and they also fear uncertainty. The past is certain as it has been and gone, but the future is unknown and is uncertain. Uncertainty causes tension, and it is this tension that causes nervous energy. This nervous energy causes our internal clock speed to raise our metabolism. People who are future-orientated have leaner bodies because of nervous energy. People who are past-orientated have overweight bodies because the past is more certain, and because it is certain, it is relaxed. Relaxation slows down the internal clock speed of the person. People who are orientated in the present moment are attached to neither past nor future and have a balance of tension and relaxation which shows balanced body weight. So what does orientation to time mean exactly? The overweight lady on the left has become attached to past beliefs and values, whilst avoiding the future. She is identified with the past. The lean underweight lady on the right has become attached to the fear of future uncertainty. She is identified with the future. The attachment to future uncertainty comes with a price. That is a huge energy demand. The lady in the middle has normal body weight and is identified with the present moment. The present moment is attached to neither past nor future, but is associated to both. It is your orientation to time that is ultimately responsible for your body weight, shape, and size. Orientation to time is responsible for your primary identity. In this image, you will notice a seesaw. On the left-hand side is mass, and on the right-hand side is energy. Along the bottom, you will see that mass is in the past, you will see that energy is in the future, and the fulcrum point which balances the two is the present moment. Now watch the seesaw. As the mass goes down, the energy goes up. What we are looking at is Einstein's mass-to-energy equivalence. If we associate to the future, we create momentum, which then makes us generate lots of nervous energy. As this energy goes up and our mass begins to drop, it's a very simple mechanism. Conversely, as mass begins to rise, energy begins to fall. This is because we have attached ourselves to the past. As Einstein noted, mass can only be converted to energy if there is momentum. The momentum we speak of is called going with the flow. It is the wind of change, allowing a person to gain momentum and move forward into the future. Imagine a wind tunnel. As you can see from our first model, this is a lady with a pear-shaped body, and she is past-orientated. This body shape carries weight around the buttocks, hips, and thighs, and lowers her center of gravity. As the wind is turned on full blast, you can see she is ideally suited to resist the wind due to her body shape. This is the message of weight gain. She is resisting moving forward into the future by resisting the winds of change. By placing weight on the lower body, she is looking for security and stability. Now let's look at the person who is orientated in the present. As the wind tunnel is turned on full blast, you will notice they are not resisting the winds of change. They are moving slowly ahead at a comfortable speed. Because of their body weight, they don't resist the wind. They just make slow progress forward. This is the perfect balance between past and future. This is indeed what the universe is asking of everyone. That is, to move forward, but at a speed that is perfectly suited so that growth can be digested and integrated. The present is the perfect orientation to time. Now it's the turn of the future-orientated person. As you can see, when the wind tunnel is turned on full blast, the future-orientated person is flying because they are leaner. The future-orientated person has reduced mass or weight, so they have less resistance to the wind. Consequently, they move forward very quickly. Too quickly, in fact. Everything is too quick, and as a result, they get swept away. They don't have any time to enjoy anything. In conclusion, we can see that our bodies tell the world a lot more than we think they do. They tell the world our primary and individual identity. They tell the world how certain we are of our identity, where our minds are orientated, and if we are avoiding the future. We have seen that our identities are closely linked to time, space, mass, and energy. Our body shape is our primary identity, and when we either gain weight or lose it, we alter the shape of our identity. Overweight people show some universal traits. They are uncertain of their identity, subservient to a past belief system, have less space, time, and energy for themselves, so as a consequence they have greater mass. Underweight people also pay a huge price in energy demand for attachment to the future. Very successful people in life have all learnt one very important universal lesson that sets them apart from others. It is that we are all identified by our time, space, and energy. They are our vital resources and reserves that belong to each and every one of us. If we value ourselves, we will value our resources. Accordingly, we will defend these resources by creating highly defined boundaries. If we create highly defined boundaries, we will become highly defined people. Highly defined people are certain of themselves. They create certainty. They are certain of their identity. People that show the universe effective management of these resources are the ones that are afforded the gateway to abundance. In Book 2, we will take this further and we will discover more about the dynamics of weight gain, the different styles of weight gain, their meaning, and how they relate to identity.